Did you know that the chivalrous idea of laying one's jacket down over a puddle came from a made-up story about Sir Walter Raleigh laying his cloak down so that Queen Elizabeth I's feet didn't get wet? Yeah, I mean, it is true, he did win her honour, but then he lost it when he had an illicit affair with one of her maids of honour. Yeah, he wound up locked in the Tower of London and eventually beheaded for treachery, so... yay, chivalry. Welcome to A Brief History of the Past. I'm Kaelan Burrows, and today we're exploring the origins of chivalry. Chivalry loosely refers to a set of codes that knights in feudal systems were expected to conduct themselves by. The codes differed based on their region and time period. We'll mainly be covering one set of codes for this episode.
Uncool, bruh.
The idea of chivalry came about in 10th century France. The Christian church was trying to regulate the violence of Frankish life at the time. In fact, chivalry comes from the French word chevalier, which means knight, who were the mounted cavalry of the Franks, used to battle Muslim invasions from Spain during the 8th century. Wait, so France got its name from the Franks, but now its people are called the French. By all accounts, shouldn't they be the French?
Idiot!
A code of chivalry was documented in a poem called the Song of Roland, written between 1098 and 1100. The poem tells the tale of Count Roland, who is betrayed by Kaelan. The villain from the Legend of Zelda games?
Well, excuse me, princess.
Roland was a loyal defender to his liege, Lord Charlemagne. Roland's code of conduct became known as a code of chivalry.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
Let's review each rule of the code. What? Wait, I've got to go through all of them? But there's so many! Okay, alright, I'll do it. But only because I, unlike some people, Karen, follow the rules.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
Code 1. To fear God and maintain his church. Knights were expected to be fully active Christians and were limited by the prohibitions of the church. However, exceptions were usually made by Christian figures. For example, killing enemies while on crusades was acceptable because they were seen as heretics. Huh. That must have been confusing. You knights are ordained by heaven and must show mercy to your enemies. That means no killing. Ah, except for these people over here. Shall we not show them mercy? No! They're heretics! Go to town! Code 2. To serve the liege lord in honour and faith. Except when it goes against Code 1, I imagine. Code 3. To protect the weak and defenceless. This code is one that would later, in the Victorian era, paint knights as adventurers who roam the countryside, selflessly righting wrongs. Now, while knights did generally adhere to the code, undoubtedly due to the first code, they certainly weren't selfless, nor were they battling the forces of evil. Well, I mean, look, maybe not all knights, but surely King Arthur and his lot were... What do you mean they're not real? Okay, then who sat at Camelot's round table then?
I am Arthur, King of the Britons. Whose castle is that?
King of the who?
The Britons.
Who are the Britons?
Code 4. To give succour to widows and orphans. Well, I mean, yeah, sure, they've had a rough go, but I don't see how giving them a few lollies helps anything. What sort of flavours are we talking about? Code 5. To refrain from the wanton giving of offence. How is that even a code? Didn't knights go around all the time challenging other knights with a slap of the glove?
I challenge you to a duel. I accept.
To live by honour and for glory. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Surely that is the ultimate and last code of chivalry. What? What do you mean there's 11 more? Who had time to learn all of this and combat?
We are the knights who say... Neat.
Code 7. To despise pecuniary reward. I mean, yeah, as well they should, you know. What's pecuniary? Code 8. To fight for the welfare of all. Well, even the people they were fighting, that don't check out. I mean, during war times, knights may have stayed their hands against other knights if it was advantageous, but peasants were afforded no such quarter. Maybe that code should actually read, to fight for the welfare of the privileged.
No, that's right.
Code 9. To obey those placed in authority. It's a bit redundant with codes 1 and 2, ain't it? Code 10. To guard the honour of fellow knights. Now this code is still honoured today. I believe it's called Bros Before Hoes. Not really sure where the gardening equipment factors in though.
You an idiot?
Code 11. To eschew unfairness, meanness and deceit. Huh. Oi! Hey, listen up you lot. Rumour has it someone around here is being mean. Alright, and I'll have none of it. You... Code 12. To keep faith. You know, if we removed all the redundant church codes, we'd have been done like 8 codes ago. I'm just saying. Code 13. To at all times speak the truth. Well, that seems like a load of bollocks. Aren't we done yet? Code 14. To persevere to the end in any enterprise begun. Alright, you know what? I think you made this one up. I do, because it's just a little too well timed. You know what though? Fine. Just bring on the codes. Alright, show you that I can be a knight. Code 15. To respect the honour of women. This sounds great on the surface, but while chivalry made aristocratic women the objects of reverence, wielding power over the men who sought their affections, it also relegated them to being appendages to men in a hypermasculine world.
Oh, my prince, would that you drink of my lips as deeply.
Code 16. Never refuse a challenge from an equal. But if they're equals, wouldn't that always end in a draw? That sounds like the definition of futility, that does.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
And finally, never turn the back upon a foe.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
And that's good advice, because you'll never know when a fellow knight's going to ignore the code and stab you in your backside through a chink in your armour. What? Does mean I can't say that? Some people find it racist. That don't make no sense, but, I'll rephrase it. Yeah. You'll never know when a knight's going to stab you in your backside through a chink in your protective clothing. Is that better?
A fool.
It's important to remember that knights following the code weren't living the romanticised lives we think of today. Knights were pragmatists. They might have shown honour to knights and enemies, but it was usually for the reward of land or gold, and very rarely for altruistic reasons. There you have it, everyone, a brief overview of the history of chivalry. If you want more information about the vast history of chivalry, check out some of the links below. Be sure to tune into our next episode where we'll be talking about the history of the Vikings. The pirates and explorers, not the American football team. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like and a share. Let me know what sort of history topics you'd like to see me discuss in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified when more brief history of the past videos go up. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the future. Code 14. To persevere to the end in anti-enterprise. And I'm saying it again. Anti-enterprise. Must choose my favourite auntie. Anti-enterprise.